Our guest speakers we're going to have three of them. We will have Hasan Harnett, who is a candidate out of the Charlotte area and is here to talk to us. He's got some great ideas. We're having Valerie in the place of Craig Collins. Craig had emergency work scenario today that kept him from coming. And then AJ Daoud, who will soon be here in a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off and give each of them 5 minutes. And Hasan, do you mind starting?
Sure.
And so everybody please welcome Hasan Harnett.
My favorite scripture says this: the greatest among you shall be servant. I believe we live in the greatest nation in the world that gives us the opportunity to live a life of service and contribution. Good afternoon, my name is Hasan Harnett from Cabarrus County, and I'm running to be your next state party chairman in North Carolina. The reason why I'm running is because we need a bold, reinvigorated Republican Party, and I am the most qualified candidate in the race. I have worked as a state minority outreach director, building relationships all across the state for the NC GOP. I've also been an All-American track star and state champion. I've worked in private equity, venture capital, and finance for a number of years and worked my way up a Fortune 100 business where I was the second person in command. In addition to all that, I've managed a U.S. congressional race through Vince Copley, who ran for Congress in the 12th District, where we were outnumbered 4-1, 4 Democrats to 1 Republican. And we set records, fundraising money, to get our conservative message in areas that it had never reached before. So here I stand as a servant leader, one to serve everyone here, to lead our party down the right path. First and foremost, I wanted to say to everyone who's a veteran, thank you for your service. Thank you for your contribution. My father served 24 years in the Air Force. I have a brother who also recently graduated from BMI 2 years ago, and is currently working his way up to be a navigator, flying fighter jets. When I look at the state of North Carolina, actually, when I look at the state of our nation, we are currently in $18.2 trillion in debt. We have a liberal agenda that's turning the nation our back to God. We currently have a president who ignores the Constitution. And now Hillary Clinton wants to be your president. I am a conservative. I'm a Christian. I believe that true conservatism is the key to turn our nation around. True conservatism for limited constitutional government, free markets, and low taxes, plus effective leadership. This is the key to turning our nation around. When I look across the state, we need to have a reinvigorated, bold Republican Party. And one of the reasons why is because although we did pretty well in recent elections, we need to do even better. We need to do even better because the Democrats are a well-oiled machine, and they swoop into neighborhoods and steal votes. And now it's upon us to make something happen. And so this election coming up in 2016 is one that will need bold leadership. When I look across the state, a small percentage of the female vote, minority vote, and young generation vote was missing. And we need to do better. We need to stand up and make sure that we are reaching out to those areas, whether they're independent or even soft Republicans who have refused to vote. We need to do better there. When I look at this time, we need to have effective leadership leading the way. Effective leadership that will reach back and help Republican candidates get elected. In addition, we must include our judges as well. Truly important. We must include our judges in the election process. In addition, we need to build teamwork, unity, and connectedness all across the state for all Republicans in this party. That's hugely monumental. In addition to that, we need to make sure that we are setting new standards in our fundraising, new standards, and relationship building, which includes minority outreach and reaching out to female voters as well. They say in certain communities, where the female vote goes, so goes the household. So we need effective leadership who's bold, able to reinvigorate our party, and get those folks who are sitting on the sidelines re-engaged. And that is why I am running, Hasan Harnett, running for State Party Chair. When I take time to reflect over the number of conversations I've had with individuals like yourselves, I've made over 3,000 personal phone calls. I've crisscrossed the state, and I've announced my candidacy back in January, which is a long time ago. I have this thing about running. There's only one speed I know, and that is all out. When you campaign, you go all out. And when you look at 2016, we need a Republican Party that will go all out, leading the way, getting our message out to those places. And so I want to leave you with this. When I ran track and field, one thing I learned about running, being an All-American, is that you have to prepare, you have to train, you have to put the hard work in. And these things build discipline. And when you're doing the right things long enough, consistently, and have the right attitude, success can be yours. And we need to make sure that we're creating a new culture within our party where there's no more backstabbing, no more agendas that are tearing our fabric down. We need to build up our base. We need to expand who we are. And so I'll leave you with this. When I ran, I had one mentality, which was, I will win, or else I'll die trying. And in the state of North Carolina, we must keep this in mind. In 2016, in all of our races, we need to win or die trying. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. There's so many faces in here that I know, and I appreciate you just giving me an opportunity to speak before you. I want you to encourage you to come to the state convention. Please vote for Harnett as your next state party chairman. Under my leadership, we will restore confidence in our Republican Party. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
Kevin, I'm going to welcome Valerie, and she told me her last name, and I didn't want to butcher it, so I'll let her tell you her last name. But Valerie's here to speak on behalf of Craig Collins. Valerie, thank you.
Hi, my name is Valerie Procopio. I am the former chairman of the North Carolina Federation of College Republicans, and I recently graduated from Campbell University right down the road. I'm here to talk to you about Craig Collins. I'm sorry he could not be here today. He was planning on being here. He's an attorney and had to go to court today for a client. So, Craig Collins is the 10th District Republican Party chairman. He has been a precinct chairman, a county chairman, a county Young Republicans chairman, and a district chairman as well. Craig Collins understands the grassroots. He's for the grassroots, is from the grassroots and for the grassroots. And he's been endorsed by Governor Pat McCrory, Lieutenant Governor Dan Forrest, Senators Tom Tillis and Richard Burr, Speaker Tim Moore, President Pro Tem Phil Berger, and former past chairman Claude Hope. All these people endorse Craig Collins because they know that he is the person they want to work with to win in their elections in 2016. Craig Collins understands the needs of our party. He knows that we need to fundraise to win in 2016 and to maximize our grassroots efforts. I'm not going to take a lot of your time, so I hope to see you all at convention next weekend, and I hope that you'll support Craig Collins. Thank you.
Okay. Before Lloyd fills this box up, I'm going to go on. You got something? Okay. Anybody has questions, we'll continue to pass. All right, and I believe AJ's here, but he might have gone to the men's room. So we'll give him time to do that. Charles, you want to take that second to talk about a meeting?
Yes, next Tuesday evening, here at Republican headquarters, Hal Weatherman will be our guest speaker. This will be a Republican Party meeting, so everyone please attend. Hal Weatherman's going to give us a great bunch of information. He is the Chief of Staff for Lieutenant Governor Dan Forrest. I will be sending an email out shortly, later today, but just wanted to make sure everyone here knew we're going to have a great meeting next Tuesday, and this will probably lay out our the way we're going to run our campaigns for 2016.
What time is it?
6:30.
6:30 next Tuesday.
6:30 for social, 7 o'clock for the meeting.
Okay.
I heard him just last week, and I'll tell you, you need to hear it. If you have not heard him, you need to hear it.
Great. Okay, so AJ has made it. Thank you for coming. I know you have a busy schedule. This is
Not too busy, so hello to
AJ, if you'll give us about 5 minutes, just about you.
Well, anybody knows me knows I really don't talk that long. Really want to thank everybody for permitting me to come back to Lee County. It's great to be here. As everybody knows, I am running for your chairman of your party. One of the reasons we decided to do it was that we see a need that the party needs to reinvent itself and reinvigorate itself. And what we mean by that is that we need to have unity. We have not had unity in this party in a long time. And if we don't unify and get together, we will lose all the great gains that we have done in the last couple of cycles. We have great people down here representing you like Mike Stone. Got to tell you that if we all don't get together and get behind Mike, we are really looking at losing these races that you all have worked so hard to create and to do. My philosophy is very simple, very easy, and it's this. It's about time that the NC GOP responds to those that are on the street, the foot soldiers, those people that are working, the polls, the precincts, and everything we need to get the resources down to you all, down to the district levels, and it's something that hasn't been done in quite a number of years. There's also other things we need to do. I'm getting sick and tired as I travel around the state. Many of you all know I've traveled over about 160,000 miles in the last 3 years, 4 party functions on my own dime. And you know this is not the first time I've been here to Lee County, nor will be the last time I've been here to Lee County or any of your events. And the reason I say that is our marketing is old. Our marketing is stale. It's not enthusiastic. It's not preventing people from giving money and being enthusiastic about it. So because of that, and because I have an astute business background, I'm an MBA, I work for public companies, I had the privilege of the governor putting me on the lottery commissioner where I oversee a $2 billion budget. I have experience in looking at the numbers, I have experience in fundraising, I ran a nonprofit police youth organization in my younger years, I've been a corporate executive with a public company. It's about time that we take some of the successes that we have done in the 6th district and brought it statewide. And the biggest thing that we have done is respect and unity. And everybody knows that. And that's what we need, respect and unity to go forward and continue to win. We need to start acting like a leadership party, right, Lloyd? Not a minority party or not the party that we've been used to for many, many years. And that is what makes me different. The 6th district, in case some of you all don't know, we're the only district that has not 1, not 2, but 3 black county chairmen. We're proud of that. We're the only district that had major GOP gains in an urban area. Greensboro, Guilford County had major GOP gains this last go-around when other cities like Raleigh and Charlotte lost GOP seats. So it's time that you need to get somebody out there that will respond to you and your needs, and I'm happy. I'm here to take any questions afterwards. My name is AJ Daoud, which I don't think any of you all know who I am because I've been around here so long, often. And I want to say, pray for us, vote for us, and I want to say on top of everything, thank you for everything that you've done in the past, and thank you for everything you will do in the future. God bless you.
AJ, what we're going to do is we had some questions here. And so I will, I'm going to put, oh, wait a second. What was your
If somebody wants to know my weight size, I will not answer that question.
So Commissioner Connect is going to pull one out, Mike's going to ask, and we'll go, we'll start Hasan, Valerie, then you. Next time around, we'll go Valerie, you, then Hasan. And if we have time for a third, then you get to lead off on the third.
Okay. Where do you think state government is most ripe for?
You want my glasses? Mike, you want my glasses?
What's been written by a doctor.
Retractions in spending and or regulations. Where do you think state government is most ripe for retractions in spending and or regulations?
Repeat the question one more time.
Where do you think state government is most ripe for retraction in spending and or regulations?
As far as that question, the government is best served when we have a limited constitutional government. I am a champion for free markets and low taxes. And all too often, what I'm seeing from our government is that we do a teeter-totter between bipartisanship. Some Republicans are in the center lane, and when you're heading down the center lane, you get hit by both sides. That's a joke. Right? So we just need to make sure that we're standing on our principles, our values, and our core essence of who we are as a party, especially at the chairmanship level. My goal is to protect our platform, protect the people, the process, and our party.
So I'm just here on behalf. I don't think I can answer that question. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can, but I'm not sure I can answer
All
that
right,
one.
AJ?
First off, let me interrupt the flow of things. Thanks, good to see Jim Duncan here. Good to see you. And I want to thank Jim for stepping up to the plate, because if anyone hasn't run for office, it takes a lot of guts and courage to run for an office. The way I look at it is, first off, this recent budgetary situation, I issued a press release and a press statement. I was not so much for what just recently occurred in the budget process. How can we go and be fiscally conservative as a party and then turn around with such a great surplus, and then within weeks we turn around and we spend more than the Democrats did when they were in control of the House? So I issued, and I know Hasan did, but I issued a very lengthy, which is on the internet, statement about how I was against what was going on with the spending, the additional pork barrel spending that went on. In other words, the way I looked at it is, all of us got a tax refund in our checking account, and then all of a sudden we went out and bought a Cadillac. And that is not right. We still have to continue the fight of being a fiscally conservative party. That's what I do. I'm proud to be probably one of the very few people in the lottery that is fiscally conservative and trying to save dollars to maximize what goes into education. As for the regulations, we all know, as a businessman, as myself as a businessman, I own 8 businesses, I can tell you emphatically, regulations are the handcuffs of business prospering and us growing. We've seen that. We just lost Volvo. We lost Volvo because of some of those regulations, and we're not quite there yet, but we're going to get there. Hopefully with great people like Mike's help and everything, that we can start attracting more businesses and more jobs to the state.
All right, thank you. I'd like to comment on that question, actually. Not a candidate. But and this is not on a state level, but I've just got back from a trip in Washington. And if you want to look at some overreach on regulation from the government, look at the Department of Labor's fiduciary rule. And And this is in reference to ERISA and some of the affects my industry, that's why I know about it. But anyway, look at that, take a gander of 1,000 pages of regulation that does not need congressional approval, which is kind of interesting and tough, but anyway. Okay, next question.
Next question, this is pretty simple. Do you support the solar industry and renewable mandates in North Carolina?
Okay,
I don't think I can answer that question.
AJ.
Do I support them? The answer is emphatically no, but hell no. And the only reason I don't is I do believe somewhere in our future there is a need for solar, there is a need for wind, but the question is, free market should let those energy sources come into play, not on the backs of the taxpayer. And interestingly enough, I'm not going to point any fingers or any names, but I think it's about time that I should. The #1 supporter of the solar energy incentives, the lobbyist, is also somebody who's involved with running the NC GOP candidate, one of the candidates' chairman's race. So having said that, he was also the only person who did not come out against the budget in our race. So consequently, there's a big lot of fine line and a fine intermingling here. So I ask everybody here to investigate who is behind what and for what reasons. That's my answer.
Sam?
I echo what AJ just said. I do not support taking the taxpayers' funds and escalating to make improvements in solar energy at this time. Again, for me, it really comes down to making sure that we are creating an environment where we're reducing regulations off the businesses' backs. We are looking into the areas that we can benefit in regulations. But when it comes down to the solar energy, I do not agree with that.
Next question. What changes would you ask the GOP to make if you was the chairman?
Nice and broad.
Nice to meet you. Again, I have to apologize. I'm just coming off a real bad cold, so Joyce said, "Why don't you stand up there all the time?" I said, "I have to go back and get something to drink, so I need antibiotics and everything." I mentioned earlier, I really believe that the GOP has to the NC GOP has to change its thinking, and it has to change its mission statement. And that mission statement and thinking has to be, what can the chairman and what can the staff on Hillsborough Street do for you, working the precincts, what they could do for you on a county level, and what they could do for Joyce on a district level. Having been and still am a district chairman, I can tell you that there is a big mentality disconnect from what your districts and what your county chairman to do versus what goes on in Hillsborough Street. And it has to change. We have to unify, we have to get together, but more importantly, we have to supply the troops with what you all need to win elections and to continue moving forward with our conservative movement. It's not going to happen if we still use the same playbook that the NC GOP has been using for the last 20 and 30 years. It's got to change. We have to bring younger people in. We talked about this in Cumberland County. Somebody said, how do we bring the younger people? I said, I have a daughter that's college age. And I said, anybody here, Glenn, I'll do the same thing with you all. How many people here have college age, 17, 18-year-old daughters? Daughters, husbands, kids? Grandkids, right. I know when I call my daughter, she never answers the phone. But I will get her in 30 seconds if I text her or I send her a Twitter on Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, particularly those that are of my age, this is their way of communicating. And we're not there yet as a party. So if we want to bring in the next generation, we have to start talking to them on the level that they're used to communicate. Just like when we were growing up, it was TV, radio, and newspaper. For them, it's the phone, texting, and Twitter, and Facebook. This is how we bring in the next generation, and this is how we bring in the new volunteers. So that's a lot of the overall plan. I have many items I can go over, but these are some of the smaller fine points that we need to look at. We need to look at getting up there and remarketing, reinvigorating, restructuring, rethinking the whole party and how it's run, how to best suit you. Thank you.
Some,
I love it, I love it. AJ, you're using my word reinvigorate, I love it. But he's right, we need to reinvigorate, we need to make sure that our messaging is proper for a time like this. 2016 and the years to come are crucial. And so we're losing the game right now. First and foremost, one thing I would like to see happen is there's a lot of infighting all across the state, different counties, different precincts, even at the district levels. And so one thing that we can do, one thing I would champion is making sure that leadership signs off on an agreement, which means that you're supporting the core values of our party. And if you're a leader, then what happens is if someone makes it beyond the primary, it's towards a general election, the leadership will support that candidate, as opposed to saying, well, I'm gonna take my toys and go home. So that's one change we need to do immediately. Another change includes, AJ was correct, messaging to the youth, to our new voters, those who are on the fence, and we need to have a fresh conservative message. There are great videos and audios that you can find on the internet that demonstrate the liberal agenda hitting communities like Baltimore, like Detroit, and places like that. And when you see all this dismay, and then the person is talking about how these ideas from the democratic machinery do not work, but there's an alternative opportunity, and that is true conservatism. So that is some boldness, yet at the same time, it will make an impact to those who watch and receive messages from the internet, video, Twitter, Facebook, and things of that nature. So I'll leave it at that.
okay, cool, thank you. Valerie?
I think I can answer that question. So Craig knows that the two most important things in winning elections are the grassroots and fundraising. Craig has been a precinct chairman, a county chairman, and a district chairman. He knows how important the grassroots are to our party, and he's going to work to make sure that they get what they need and to strengthen our party on a statewide level from the grassroots. And fundraising, the most important thing we can do as a party is raise money to win. We lost our party checkoff funds this past year. That has been a detriment to the party. We need to make up for that with a full-time party chairman who will roll up his sleeves on day one to make sure that we raise enough money for our party to win in 2016.
Thank you. One more question.
Yes. This is a great question here, kind of piggybacks on some statements already made. If you win the state chairmanship, would you be a full-time, and if so, what kind of salary would you expect from the party?
All right, so, put you on the block.
I believe the chairmanship race, or excuse me, the chairman should be a full-time position, period. Secondly, as far as salary, I don't believe that chairman should be paid. I believe that since all the other leaders who are at the precinct, the county, and district levels, they are all volunteers, every last one of them. That being said, we need to make sure we have effective leadership. And so either they all get paid, and then the chairman gets paid, or chairman doesn't get paid, and everyone else remains a volunteer. And I say that because I made a pledge not to take a salary. And our current chairman earned about $120,000, and most people don't even know about that. So that being said, my campaign has educated a lot of people who are watching this race. And talk about hitting the ground running, I've been running my campaign since January, and has been full steam ahead. There's only one speed I know, and that's all out. And so that's what I've been doing, making those phone calls, crisscrossing the state, spending time with wonderful people like yourselves, asking the right questions, listening, and then putting together strategy and plans that will help move our party for not just this year, but for years to come.
Thank you. Valerie?
Try to answer this one as best I can. Look, the state party chairman is a full-time job. It takes a lot of work. And our past chairman has been paid, like Hasan Harnett said, we need a full-time chairman who can do the work of our party, and he should be paid accordingly.
AJ?
Well, this is, first off, let me just say, I'm not cold med, so I apologize. We need to get Mike and Jim elected. I might have said something earlier, but I just want to tell you I'm not cold med. This, ladies and gentlemen, is an interesting subject for me, which hopefully Joyce could attest. I'm on the personnel committee for the party. We've had many of discussions and committee meetings about the salaries of the chairmanship. Most people do not realize or know, since 2002, it was researched and it was found that the executive committee voted that the state party chairman gets the same equivalent amount as a cabinet position, which is $125,000 a year.
Right, AJ is wrong. Tom Fetcher's the only first one we paid. That was 2009.
But when David Lewis pulled the minutes out, it was 2002 it was voted.
But I've been on the executive central committee that long.
I'm just telling you, that's what the minutes said.
Well,
That they went in the, and
I've
that's
seen the
in,
reports.
well, in either case,
2009.
that's,
Okay.
yeah. We'll agree that it's been paid for quite a while. Well, like was mentioned earlier, that's when we had money coming in, that's when we had the checkoff funds coming in. Let me give you a little simple math. To keep the doors open at the NC GOP, just to keep them open, with salary, staff, without supporting candidates, without anything else, is $900,000 a year. Has to pay our taxes, our light bills, to keep that headquarters open. So ladies and gentlemen, as a businessman, I'm here to tell you that I am totally not in agreement that well over 10% of our operating budget is going to go to pay for a chairman's salary. I think it's absolutely disgusting. I've been sat in these meetings, I have seen people. The other question I have is, like you and I in business, if the party has a cash flow situation, will your chairman not take a salary in order to keep the doors open? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, one, I do not agree with the current salary level. I think it needs to be dramatically reduced tremendously. Second, I don't have a problem with, if the money's not in the bank, I am not taking a paycheck. And third, this is all part of my general review and plan to overlook where we're spending our money and where it's going. Let me give you a quick thought. Joyce has been part of it. We can't get new computers at the NC GOP. We cannot get new personnel and new staff. Why? Because over 10% of our budget is going to pay a chairman, and it's not right. So AJ Daoud is here to tell you that that will be dramatically reduced. And as we all know, a part-time, no salary, or even a full-time, no salary chairman just doesn't cut it. You gotta have a little something in there to cover your expenses, to cover certain items that come out of your pocket. Nobody knows better than I do after 3 years of traveling the state with about $140,000, $150,000 out of my pocket. I mean, mileage out of my pocket. Not one dime came out of our district. Everything came out of my pocket. Every time I've come here to Lee County for one of your Lincoln Reagan Day dinners or whatever, that came out of my pocket. So there has to be a good mix. But where we're at right now, the party financially will not survive paying a chairman the salary that they're getting now.
In other words, you're saying you will take a salary.
I will take a salary, but it will be dramatically cut. I'm thinking like 40, 50% of what's going on right now.
Okay, I'm sure all three candidates will be more than welcome to stick around for additional questions.